We're going to go ahead and start our meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
My pleasure. Trustee Arnett, Trustee Holder, Trustee Kotinik, Trustee Kukler,
Here.
Trustee Langen,
Here.
Trustee McCarty,
Here.
President Livingston.
Here, and Trustee Holder's
Who's on his
coming
way?
in right here. So with that, we do have a quorum. Let's keep the roll call going. Andre, can you pass it off to Jerry there? Just name and what commission you're on, and if anybody has a guest, introduce your guest.
Oh, Griel.
But quickly, otherwise we'll be here till 9:30. Thank you.
Plan Commission.
Thanks, Jerry.
Wayne Kardatsky, Plan Commission. It's my wife, Kathy.
Well, you're on television, so you have to have a microphone, so.
There you go.
John Peterson, Fire Pension Board, and my wife Peggy.
Jimmy Janevsky, Community and Economic Development.
Lisa Scher, Community and Economic Development.
Ken Eastman, former village trustee, and my wife Linda.
Jan McFarland, president of the LaGrange Garden Club.
I'm Cynthia Urbane, part of the Garden Club.
Cynthia Leffley, Garden Club, LaGrange resident.
Mary Potter, LaGrange Garden Club, and a longtime member of the LaGrange area.
Beth Brace, LaGrange Garden Club.
Dawn Peterson, LaGrange Garden Club.
Joan Barr, LaGrange Garden Club. Angie Brown, LaGrange Garden Club.
Last but not least, Debbie Griffin of the LaGrange Garden Club.
Steve Palmer with the Community and Economic Development Commission, and I'm with the fire chief's wife, Anna Gay, in case you didn't know who that was.
Glenn Wensing, Environmental Quality Control Commission.
Curtis Linder, trustee, West Suburban Mass Transit District, and my wife Nancy.
Beth Augustine, Environmental Quality Control Commission.
John Kenny, Village Prosecutor.
Lou Gale with the Community and Economic Development Commission, and my wife, Kristen.
Russ Roberto, Community and Economic Development.
Jim Arnold, Community and Economic Development.
Jim Leota, LaGrange Police Department. My wife, Marianne, and my daughter, Kelly.
Mark Lease, Chairman of the Board of Police and Fire Commissioners.
And I'd like to introduce my wife, Casey Livingston, who's here tonight. And trustees, any other guests? Everybody else taken care of? So thank you. And I also, it's a real pleasure for us to welcome our United States Congressman from the 3rd District, Dan Lipinski. Congressman Lipinski, welcome tonight. So with that, we've done the full roll call. Now, Mr. Clerk, let's all rise for the pledge. Pledge of Allegiance.
My pleasure. If you join me, I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, this is a little bit different agenda than we normally have, and we will be conducting our regular business again at our next village board meeting on May the 23rd. But we really do feel it's important once a year to suspend our regular business and say thank you very much. I want to personally thank those that I serve with on the Board of Trustees here for a great year. I want to thank Bob Polipshin, you as village manager, and your team, your department heads. It's been a busy year. We've got a great police and fire department that works around the clock, not only making LaGrange safe, but the region safe. And our Public Works Department has been very, very busy. We'll hear about that in a second. But literally since May 1st, it's a new year in LaGrange as we start our budget every May 1st. And since last May of 2015, We have seen beams rise out of the ground at the old YMCA site. We've seen the Manor Care facility in the south part of the village with a massive expansion project. We have seen 40 South Ashland, a new condominium project. We have seen St. Francis and St. Cletus get projects approved through the village here, and they're seeing expansion. And finally, a new memory care facility at the very northern edge of the village. So you're really seeing expansion and growth in every corner of the village, and that's a big testament to the precious time that you all put and place your hands on our village. There's a new stop sign, set of stop signs around North Campus, and a new stop light on Willow Springs Road since we gathered here last May. We have a joint dispatch facility that's been approved and is underway with Western Springs and Brookfield. That was a major undertaking that took many years. We have new retail that has come in our West End Business District. We had a bookstore return to the LaGrange since last May. And we are nearing final construction on our East Avenue water pump station. So that is a major and important project. We took Cossett and Kensington Avenues to the bedrock last summer and rebuilt those, and in doing so put new fiber systems in LaGrange to improve our connectivity to the rest of the world. And not as exciting to some, but exciting to us, we made 100% of our pension payment to our employee pensions fund. And amid all the crisis you see around us, we went into Moody's to get our ratings affirmed to go out for major infrastructure projects, and we got one of the highest ratings you could get as a village, a non-home rule community. So it's definitely a team effort. You've been a big part of that team. We could not do it without you, quite frankly, and again, it offers us a chance to provide our thanks. Looking ahead, you're going to see major reconstruction of our police and fire station. It's time. The roof's getting a little soggy, and we need to make that investment there. You're going to see ground broken on our 50th Street major storm sewer system, as well as other floodwater management. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you. And again, you're being asked of your time, and that's one of the precious gifts that you can give us as a village, and we have the results to show for it. One thing I'm going to ask in a moment is that we take time to recognize a group of individuals that are here this evening that are outside our boards and commissions process, but very important. And then we're going to hear from our congressman briefly, if he'll allow us. And we asked him to come here. He's got 750,000 souls in his district, and he's here with us this evening, and it'll be a pleasure to briefly introduce him and keep you on your schedule, Congressman. So with that, at this point in the agenda, item A is the recognition of boards and commissions, but we're going to skip to the LaGrange Garden Club. This is a 92-year-old organization that really goes unsung, and we decided this was the year we would sing about the LaGrange Garden Club. In a minute, I'll ask Jan McFarland to come up, but this is a group we should never, ever take for granted. This is an organization of volunteers that really makes our downtown and our municipal structures vibrant. When you are in a healthy community, there's certain things you don't realize you're seeing, but that you enjoy. And a big part of that is what the LaGrange Garden Club does. So at this point, Jan McFarland, will you come up here, please, and bring your volunteers along with you. And you're going to say a few words. Andre, I don't know if we could provide a microphone to Jan. And come all the way up here, and you know, I'll come around so you can, don't have your back to the to the guests. And then I'm going to present something to you. Face that way. Tell us a little bit about what you're up to in the garden club and all.
Okay. I came prepared. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about our garden club. The mission and objectives of the Garden Club is the advancement of gardening, of course, but it doesn't include only our homes, but it includes our communities, our neighbors, and garden therapy as well. We are charged with also protecting the environment and conservation of natural resources. So we've been in effect since 1924, so it's a long time, 92 years. Our members are involved in a variety of civic and community service projects. Some you might be aware of and some you may not. One of our members, wherever she is, Debbie Griffin, designs all the containers for the village, and she makes decisions on the plants that get used, all the things that get planted along the area around the village hall and surrounding areas. And our club members come out before Memorial Day, and we plant those 90 containers with the help of the Public Works Department. Milo's sitting back there, big helper, yes, and Don Wachner. So we plant all those, but we also do some other things that you might not be aware of. We plant the post office, we maintain the gardens at the post office. We plant the war memorials along Brainerd Avenue along by LT. We also helped with some ideas in planting for the new Stone Avenue station renovation last year. For at least the last 20 years, we've donated a tree in the community every year. So we've planted a tree in the village, in the downtown plaza area. We've planted at Helping Hands, some of the churches, some of the schools. Most recently, we helped do Arbor Day celebration at St. Francis School and planted a tree there as well. So we help in that area as well. We also donate at least $2,500 worth of scholarships every year for students going on to college from District 204 if they are going for horticulture or environmental sciences. We create 40 summer flower arrangements every week for Briar Place and Windsor Place retirement homes. So our members get together every week and we do that. So 40 times however many weeks there are in the summer. We also created and donated holiday outside containers for the Historical Society this year. We make and donate centerpieces for the Aging Care Connection Fall Fundraiser Luncheon, and we help them make money as well because they raffle our centerpieces off. We donate new gardening books to the library when any of our members pass away, and we also participate in Community Nurses Secret Santa program. So I couldn't brag about my club members anymore. The women that are here with me today have spearheaded these projects and shared their talents and leadership abilities to help our members learn and beautify their community. We hope that by sharing a little bit of our green thumb, we make LaGrange a more colorful and fun place to be. So, thank you.
So now you know why we wanted to recognize the Garden Club, because every time we hear about them, we learn they do something else that we weren't aware of, and never want to take that for granted. So to be able to share your great works with the community, with the public, we really felt strongly about that. So on behalf of the Village Board, we would love to present to you this plaque of appreciation, and I'm going to do something that occasionally happens in government. I'm going to give this to you, but then I want it back eventually. But the reason is that we will mount this in the parking deck in our central business district, so as people come and go from our central business district, they're permanently affixed. Will be a honor to the LaGrange Garden Club for all your good work. So we really do appreciate that. On behalf of the village trustees and the village, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure next to introduce our congressman from the 3rd District, Dan Lipinski. Dan serves on 2 committees, the Science and Technology Committee, as well as the Transportation and Infrastructure Committees, the senior member from Illinois on that committee. This is his 6th term in Congress, and he has got a engineering degree from Northwestern, an engineering and economics degree from Stanford, and a PhD from Duke. He's one of about a dozen members in Congress that has an engineering degree. This is a no-nonsense, good public servant, and as much as we brag about LaGrange and the vibrancy, we could not do this alone. So if you like what you saw at Stone Avenue Station, if you like a safe community and the safer grants we get from the federal government, LaGrange has a great deal of commerce and activity that comes from outside our village. We are a regional center, and therefore, as good as we have it in our downtown, we need those federal resources and public policy assistance in really partnering with the federal government to make LaGrange a place we're proud to call our home. So we asked Congressman to be here tonight just to give us a brief update, kind of putting you on the spot just to see what's going on. But again, we want to thank you for your no-nonsense, dedicated public service to LaGrange. And with that, I might ask Congressman Lipinski to come forward. Thank you.
Thank you. A little more slowly today. Ran a marathon about 9 days ago, and then found out this past Friday I tore hamstrings in both of my legs in running that marathon. So moving a little more slowly these days, but I want to be here. I thank the mayor for inviting me to be here today. And I'm mostly here just to say thank you for the work that you do. I'm not just the representative for LaGrange, also the fact that I live next door in Western Springs. LaGrange is very important for the region here in the western suburbs. And I usually don't like to talk about, I don't talk about my PhD in political science, but I always think about, there's one thing that I read. My father always told me there's not going to teach you anything in school that help you be a better politician. But one thing I read, I'll always remember, is back in the 1840s and 50s, there's a Frenchman, Alexis de Tocqueville, who came to America, and he wrote a book, Democracy in America. And the thing he said that makes America different from the rest of the countries in the world and so successful is people do things in their community. It's a ground, from the ground up, things happen in America. They're not waiting for the king, the leader, to lead the way. If there's a problem in the community, if there's an issue in the community, people come together and solve them. And today, when we have so much focus on the president and presidential election now, and focus on Washington, focus on the issues going on with the state, it's important. Yes, it's important what the state does, what the federal government does. And I know I have an important role to help LaGrange and all communities in my district thrive and be the best communities that they can. But what's really most important is people who volunteer their time to solve problems, to make things better in communities. I think it's a great example to have the Garden Club up here. I was just amazed at all the things that the Garden Club does. But we see those things, and we many of us don't know how they happen. We may probably take some of these things for granted. But we do, when we stop and think about it, appreciate all those things. They make a difference in our lives. They make things a little bit brighter. And so everyone, I want to thank everyone, from the mayor and the trustees, the police and fire, and everyone who contributes their time. We all know and keep hearing more and more about this. People are, in today's world, no one has time to do anything. besides work, take care of their families, and sleep. But all of you find the time to give to your community. And that's what makes LaGrange such a great place. It makes it, you know, a place that is a magnet for people from all over to come here. The business owners, I see Steve Palmer back there. I was just over in his establishment before I came here. But it makes for a really vibrant community that people want to come to. It draws people here to live or to, you know, go to a restaurant or bar or go and shop here. And so it just really is impressive to me. And I thank you for doing that, because you are the ones who make, you know, this community and people doing similar things across my district, across the country, make America great. And I really, truly believe that. And I understand that it's community involvement that means so much. So I'm always happy to help out whenever the mayor or someone comes to me in ways that I can help out LaGrange. I'm always happy to do so. Getting Stone Avenue Station done, it's great to see. A number of years ago, although I don't know if I should bring this up because I, you know, knew it wasn't always popular with every single person here, the garage. I was able early on in my first year, actually, was able to get the money for the garage. At least Steve's clapping.
You're on safe ground here. This is garage territory, yeah.
So I'm happy to help out in any way that I can, especially serving on a transportation committee. It helps me to do things that help you, and anything else that I can help out with, I'm always happy to do. But it's what I do helps contribute, just like everything that you all do contributes to making LaGrange such a great place. So thank you for all that you do, and anything that I can ever do to help out with the village or any of you, please certainly let me know. So thank you.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks again, especially, I know we parked in the parking deck this evening, and it was a welcomed refuge. At this point, we're going to have some just quick run through of what the various police or the various commissions are doing. I'll kick it off to various trustees, and then we will adjourn to a social setting here in the room after that. So with that, Andre Peterson, I'm going to ask you to briefly talk about the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners.
Thank you. In accordance with state statute, the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners oversees certain personnel matters within the fire and police departments. More specifically, they are responsible for the initial appointment of all full-time firefighter paramedics and police officers. They make promotional appointments, and they administer disciplinary action. For the fire department, the Board of Fire and Police Commission approved a new firefighter paramedic eligibility register and hired a new firefighter paramedic in the last year. For the police department, the Board of Fire and Police Commission promoted 2 police sergeants and hired 3 new police officers this past year. One of these 3 police officer positions was created by the referendum. In the upcoming months, the Board of Fire and Police Commission will be approving a new police officer eligibility register and filling 2 police officer vacancies. I would like to introduce Mark A. Lees, 17 years and current chair of the commission, Elise Hoffenberg, 2 years, and Paul Kerpen, 3 years.
Thank you, Andre. And we'll move on to the Community and Economic Development Commission, Trustee Dave McCarty. And we'll hold our applause, but thank you to the Police and Fire Commission. Yeah. Mark.
The Community and Economic Development Commission considers and makes recommendations to the Village Board regarding economic development issues and matters related to relationships between our residential neighborhoods and commercial business districts. Having participated as members of the LaGrange 2020 Task Force The CEDC offered guidance and recommendations on numerous topics related to village government, with a particular emphasis on economic development. That heightened area of focus was incorporated into the referendum budget by the village board. The CEDC discussed new economic development strategies such as valet parking, wayfinding signage at major entry points into the village, and a privately managed facade loan program. The members of the commission are the current chairman, and for 2 years, Russ Roberto. Jim Arnold, appointed in 2015. Caroline Dillon, appointed in 2015. Lou Gale, also appointed in 2015. Camille Hall, appointed in 2015. James Janovisky, appointed in 2015. Kathleen DeMonico in 2015. Laura Tussing has been on for 2 years. Lisa Shear has been on for 2 years. Rebecca Wimbush has been on for 5 years. Margaret Carlson has been on for 9 years. Mark Reich has been on for 9 years. Elizabeth Stiles has been on for 9 years. Lester Williams has been on for 9 years. And Steve Palmer has been on forever. 16 years. Thank you, Steve. And thank you very much to the Community and Economic Development Committee.
Thank you, Trustee McCarty. Trustee Holder, Design Review Commission.
With pleasure. The Design Review Commission reviews matters related to the Central Business District Facade Renovation and Restoration Program. It reviews and offers recommendations to the Village Board on design review applications within the Design Overlay District, which is generally the Central Business District and along LaGrange Road, Hillgrove, and Burlington. And it also administers the village's commercial building comprehensive sign plan. This year, the Design Review Commission also recommended approval of the facade renovations for Owl and Lark. If you haven't seen them, they're quite handsome. 43 South LaGrange Road. And at the request of the CEDC, the DRC, lots of letters, reviewed and commented on the design concepts for our gateway signage. The members, headed up by Andrea Barnish, who is the current chair and has been on the commission for 24 years with her other little job of running some of the festivals here. John Beams, appointed in June of last year. Troy Pavelka for 6 years. Michael Thuma has been on for 7 years. Carol Visek has been on for 7 years, Tim Reardon for 9, and Regina McClinton for 25 years. Thank you each for your service and your generosity of your time and your knowledge.
Thank you, and thank you, Trustee Holder. Trustee Arnett, the Environmental Quality Control Commission.
Good evening. The Environmental Quality Control Commission continues to be active in helping to raise public awareness of our environmental issues and the continued use of our green space and also our green initiatives. In recent years, the EQCC was involved in evaluating the village's solid waste contract. We also advised the village on various environmentally related matters, including Energy Impact Illinois, Cook County Solid Waste Plan, quarry blasting, which are all familiar to those of us over on the east side, and the emerald ash borer, which I think has really had a devastating effect on many of our ashes and a lot of our old growth trees in our neighborhood. In the past year, the Commission was actively involved in assisting with and promoting several recycling and environmental events here in LaGrange, including document shredding, prescription drug collection, and collecting of electronics. A shredding event is going to be scheduled for June. I don't have the date yet, but I'm sure as soon as it's planned, we'll be able to get that promoted. We wanted to thank for their service Glenn Wintnick for 28 years and a current chair of the commission, Beth Augustine
who was appointed in June of 15. Rose Nassif for 2 years. Rebecca Davies, who's been on the commission for 3 years. Linda Christensen for 7. And Richard Battistoni, who's been on the commission for 26 years.
Thank you, and thank you, Trustee Arnett. The Plan Commission, Trustee Kotinek and Trustee Langen.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. It's my pleasure to introduce the Plan Commission. There are 7 members, each serving 3-year terms. The Plan Commission reviews and recommends applications for special use permits, plan development approval, site plan approval, amendments to the zoning code, and official map, vacation of the public rights-of-way, and subdivision plots. During the last fiscal year, the Plan Commission conducted public hearings and considered issues related to amendments to the zoning map, plan developments, special use permits, site plan and design approvals for development of Aspired Living of LaGrange, an assisted living memory care facility at 35 Shawmut, special use permits and site plan approval for a new parish center at St. Cletus Parish, and a fitness center on South LaGrange Road. Also, the Plan Commission recommended a zoning map amendment at 100 South Catherine to rezone the First Church of Christ Scientist from an institutional building to R4 single-family residential to subdivide into 3 single-family lots for redevelopment. In addition, the Plan Commission recommended amendments to the text of the zoning code to allow tutoring services, mobile phone repair in the Central Commercial District, and a bank at LaGrange Crossings, 1 North LaGrange Road in the C3 Limited District. The Plan Commission continues to review the remaining sections of the zoning code to complete a comprehensive update of the code, including commercial, office, industrial uses such as craft breweries, accessory uses, fences, parking, nonconformity, and definitions. Trustee Langdon, would you be so kind to introduce the Plan Commission members?
My pleasure. A 21-year member of the Plan Commission, Wayne Kardatsky is their current chairman. Dave Schwartz was appointed in June of 15. Julie Egan has served for 2 years. Jay Stewart, 5 years. Greg Pace, 8 years. Laura Wyrick has served for 9 years. Tom Williams has served for 9 years. And Jerry Reich has served for 16 years. Thank you all for your service.
Thank you, and thank you, Trustee Kotinek and Langen. Zoning Board of Appeals, Trustee Kukler.
It's my pleasure to recognize the Zoning Board of Appeals. There's 7 members, and they serve 5-year terms. The Zoning Board of Appeals reviews applications for relief from one or more requirements of the village's zoning code, conducts public hearings, and makes recommendations to the Board of Trustees regarding those applications for zoning variations. Typical requests for zoning variations relate to front, side, and rear yard setbacks for single-family homes, building coverage for single-family homes, building coverage and setbacks for replacement of detached garages, and the like. Over the past year, the ZBA has heard 5 cases for variance requests involving the following subject matters: parking in the front yard, required front yard, the maximum building coverage for front porches, and 2 home addition requests. The members include Ellen Bruin, who's been serving for 22 years and is the current chair of the board; John Pappas, who was appointed a year ago; Laura Blintlinger, who's been on for 2 years; Michael Finder, 6 years; Jeff Hoffenberg, 6 years; Peter O'Connor, 7 years; and Ian Brenson, 10 years. Thank you for all your service.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Kukler. And a few more individual volunteers appointed to individual positions. Chief Renee Strasser, if you could cue up the police auxiliary.
Thank you, President Livingston. It is my honor to introduce Jim Leota, the Police Auxiliary Director. The Village of Grange is fortunate to be served by an auxiliary police force. The unit consists of 10 public safety officers who volunteer their time to serve the citizens of LaGrange. The auxiliary unit's leader is Jim Leota. He has served the Village of LaGrange for a total of 25 years, with the last 22 years as the director. Year after year, Jim leads the auxiliary unit for the total hours worked at all of LaGrange's special events. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Let's jump protocol here and give Jim a round of applause. It's a lot of hours and a lot of time. Andre, if you could discuss the West Suburban Mass Transit District.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to recognize Curtis Linder, trustee for the West Suburban Mass Transit District. The West Suburban Mass Transit District was created in 1970 through a federal endowment to monitor passenger rail services provided by the Burlington Northern Railroad and Metra, provide financial assistance to member communities to implement commuter-related improvements, and financially support system-wide improvements such as purchasing passenger rail cars to be used exclusively on the Chicago to Aurora rail line. LaGrange is a charter member. As such, the village appoints a resident to the district's Board of Trustees. The village's current representative to the district is Curtis Linder, who has served on the board since 2009. He is currently an executive officer on the board, serving as treasurer. Mr. Linder was also actively consulted during the Stone Avenue train station renovation project and was instrumental in assisting the village in securing grant funding for the Stone Avenue train station master improvements plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Curtis, very much. Firemen's Pension Board Advisory Members. Chief.
Thank you,
Don
Mr.
Day.
President. Mr. Kevin Sheehan and Mr. John Peterson. The Firemen's Pension Board was created according to the Illinois state statute to review pension investment activity and evaluate disability claims, fitness for duty, and other matters of an operational nature. Mr. Sheehan has been on the board since June of 2014, and Mr. John Peterson has served since June of 2015.
Thank you. Very important to the financial health of the village. Chief Strasser, the Police Pension Board Advisory Members.
My pleasure. John Kunkel and Mike Maher, Police Pension Board Advisory Members. The Police Pension Board was created according to Illinois state statute to review pension investment activity and evaluate disability claims, fitness for duty, and other matters of an operational matter. John Kunkel is one of 2 resident members of the 5-member Police Pension Board and currently serves as its vice president. He has served on the board since June of 2015. Mike Maher is the 2nd resident member of the 5-member Police Pension Board, and he has served on the board since June of 2015. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, if you're an alumni or served on the LaGrange 2020 Task Force, could you please stand? A lot of them ended up on boards and commissions. Trustee Kotinek was our chairman. We continue to work to implement the vision of the task force along with our own trustee planning, our biannual strategic planning, and we look at your work each time we form a budget and a policy to keep on track for the betterment and the future of this village. So thank you very much. And with that, that concludes our official and informal business for today's meeting. But I agree, Trustee Langen. A round of applause to all our volunteers. Yeah. With that, I would seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned until May the 23rd. Thank you.